Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We are traveling all over Uganda to find hardworking farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need
to make their farms more productive and adapt to climate change.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice and turn their farms around into a profitable business,
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience
on the Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
Put it up.
It's okay, Frob. Thank you. This week you might have guessed right because we are off to meet a musical farmer.
A fine trumpet player and a fine young man too.
Well, he formed a brass band to help introduce the local youth to the joys of playing music.
And with all the instruments paid for from the profits of the farming.
We want to see how we can help him buy more instruments.
And even grow more crops for a bigger income.
Frob, let's go and play. It's okay, thank you.
Today, we are in Wakiso district.
And we are visiting farmer Nathan Sekanjako.
Nathan is 26 years old and just starting out in the brass band business, training these young players.
It's much like his farming business. It's doing well, but there's always room for improvement.
Nathan has 2 plots, one of 2 acres that has mainly coffee and bananas.
And another 1.5 acres where he has started to grow cocoa.
Very interesting. So we want to find out how that's been doing and whether cocoa is a good money earner compared to the coffee.
Look, Frobes, these beans look just about ready.
Oh, and they look lovely. Let's go meet him.
Yes, hello.
I am from Shalwanga.
And I'm Agnes Kebirunji from Shamba Shape Up.
Yes. Cool. I'm Nathan. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. How can we help you on your farm?
Oh, yes.
I'm having a number of challenges with my farm, like cocoa drying up when it's still in pods. My coffee branches keep on drying. So banana still I'm having some pests that disturb them.
You don't have to worry because we don't come alone. We come with experts that are going to give you all the help that you need.
But before we bring them here, we have to go and call them. So we'll find you here.
Wow.
Okay?
See you later.
No, we're going to hear the band playing.
You can earn a good living. You can earn out of agriculture. I've done a lot out of it. I've managed buying my band machines through agriculture. Maybe I want to buy myself something. I want to buy myself land. I want to construct rentals. Still, I get money out of agriculture. So, something which is good.
And it's good to see a young farmer doing well. But first, before we hear Nathan's brass band, I think a cup of coffee is in order. Let's find out how to get a nice one by growing good quality beans. To help us, we have invited coffee expert Andrew Magombe from Cafe Africa to give us some advice. Nathan began farming this banana plantation around 7 years ago. His first step was to start intercropping with coffee, along with some other plants like cassava. But is this a good idea?
So, Nathan, I can see banana, I can see coffee almost in equal proportions.
Yeah.
What is your major priority here?
The major crop now, I want it to be coffee.
So coffee is your priority.
Yeah.
How is it doing?
Coffee, some branches keep on drying. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, so it dries up. Yeah. So it's the main challenge now I'm having at the moment.
Let's take a walk and see if we can
get
into the problem-solving aspect of it. So the drying of the leaves, what causes it?
Okay, what we saw, the branches were drying because of a pest called black coffee twig borer. It's a pest.
Okay.
Now that pest is favored by too much shade. And you can see this banana, there's too much banana, a lot of bananas, causing a lot of shade. And if you take note, Where you see too much shade is where you'll see a lot of twig borer.
Oh, thanks. I never knew that.
Hey, I can see the man has rivers in his garden.
Yeah, this is soil erosion. And this is a very big problem. If not controlled, the soil erosion sweeps away the topsoil and leaves bare ground. You can see topsoil is gone. And also you can see the roots here that have been exposed. Okay? So you see, that is a terrible thing. Even if he puts manure or fertilizer in this garden, it will be washed away and the plants will not give you the right yield. So that's a big, big issue. Need to control the soil erosion. Yep.
Nathan,
Yes.
you want to put an orchard in the garden? Is it good to have fruit trees in a coffee garden?
When you talk of mango, for example, the mango is not good in a coffee garden. The biggest reason is that when the mango grows, it forms a very dense shade, which does not allow light to penetrate easily.
Okay.
And those dense conditions will favor the twig borer to multiply.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Then when you look at avocado, is an alternate host to the twig borer. It keeps the twig borer. So again, we advise that avocado should be planted outside the coffee garden.
We're removing all the fruit trees, but is there any way we can maintain our shade?
There are recommended shade trees that are supposed to be planted in coffee. And those trees are the ficus, which is in English, or omutuba in Uganda.
Okay.
Then we have the albizia coriaria in English, but it's called in omugavu in Uganda.
I can see there's some cassava. Is it a favorable crop for our coffee?
The farmer is, Nathan is trying to do everything.
Yeah, he has to survive.
It is not recommended to be planted in coffee.
Why?
2 reasons. One, it feeds on the same level with coffee. Okay? So it will be competing for nutrients with the coffee. It's a heavy feed actually. Then secondly, if you are digging out the cassava, harvesting the cassava, you will be cutting the coffee roots. And that will affect the performance of the coffee. Okay?
Much of what I'm having within my garden is not recommended, right? So what can I be? What can I be having within my garden so that less?
Okay, thank you very much.
For security. Yeah.
Coffee is the main crop. Okay? Within the coffee, you intercrop with bananas. Then, down here, in between these spaces, plant cover crops like beans, groundnuts, soya bean. Those ones are even nitrogen fixers. Besides improving soil fertility, those legumes will also act as a cover crop and they will prevent soil erosion. They will prevent erosion from taking away your soil. Yeah.
So, Andrew, what about the bananas in our coffee garden?
We'll need to cut out some of the bananas and reduce the number. And this should be done gradually.
Or it's not at once?
Not at once,
Okay.
because the farmer needs some of them to mature and he eats them out.
Okay. Luckily, Aggie has an expert who is going to advise us on how to do that.
Thank you, Frob. Yes, I have. That's why I invited Dr. Godfrey Seru from Naro, because there's not so many people who know more about banana and coffee intercropping. Choosing which bananas to remove is the main challenge, and then what to do with the residue. And if Nathan wants to plant more bananas elsewhere, how to manage the suckers. Here is Nathan. Good. Let's see what Dr. Godfrey has to say. What have you noticed so far?
Several discussion points. 1, the spacing. 2, the plant size shows it doesn't feed very well. He needs to add nutrients.
Okay.
And we have also seen some erosion taking place. So, but for the beginning, let's start with the spacing. Now, Nathan, if you were to plant a very good banana coffee intercrop, you should observe the spacing. The coffee should be your primary crop. You space it at 10 by 10 feet. Then the bananas should be wider at a spacing of 20 by 20. We need to observe the spacings I've mentioned. In this case, we have to remove these
Yes.
Do you agree that what the doctor has said about removing some of the plants?
Yeah, I do agree. But which kind should we remove? Should we remove all?
No, we can't remove everything,
Yes.
but we select considering the spacing that we want, the 20 by 20. Then we look at the performance of the plant. Now, if it is so miserable, that one we remove. But those which have bunches, we can wait until we harvest the bunches and then we remove.
Okay, so around here, which ones are we removing?
This is one of them.
Ah, okay.
Because you can see it has no bunch, it is in the wrong position. And after this, we can see the others to be
Okay,
removed.
I'll call for help. Caris! Yes, this way. Caris, please help us approach this. Yes, doctor. Is there any particular way you're supposed to remove it, or you just remove?
Yeah, he's doing it the right way. However, now you see this is a very good sucker.
Yeah.
If you have plans of expanding the plantation, you remove it properly, clean it, and plant it on the side where you want to expand. Otherwise, these other ones, you can just cut.
Okay. Doctor, so what's the proper way of removing that sucker?
Now, after digging like that, you just have to detach it from the mother plant. You see? Yeah, so we remove it like this. You can see this is a very nicely removed sucker. What we have to do now is to remove the roots and clean it very well.
Okay.
After removing, you can see these black, slightly black things. We have to cut and remove all the black stuff. After uprooting a sucker, make sure you clean it from where you've uprooted it to avoid any chance of transferring a pest or disease. So now we have to cut off this upper pseudostem. Now this is the best way of cutting, slanting like this so that the water, it can't sit, but it drains off. And that will prevent the sucker from rotting. Now we can go ahead and uproot this plant.
Carry on.
So, remember farmers, when trimming suckers or cutting trees, always disinfect your tools before you work in another area. Tools can carry diseases, so always disinfect them.
So now we have uprooted this plant. However, we are not going to just leave this one just like this. We chop it. It helps us to cover our mulch.
Okay. Nathan now has an idea of what
He has
to
an
do.
idea of what to do. And if we are to intercrop, then let's do it properly so that we get optimum yield from the banana and the coffee. If you don't, then the coffee will be affected. And you've seen the banana trees are just growing tall and giving you very little bunches.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for this information. It's been interesting. What Doctor is trying to tell us is if you remove some of these plants, at the end of the day, you get more yield in the matoke and the coffee. What could be better?
Oh, wow.
Rob, what did you think of that? Two working as one.
It's amazing how the coffee and the banana can either work against each other or work in harmony with the other.
Yes, I'm thinking of that applying to two people. Any ideas who I might mean, Rob?
Aggie, are we in conflict or in harmony?
I'll let you be the judge of that.
Still to come after the break.
Farming cocoa.
And how to keep track of your income.
Welcome back.
To Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We're in Wakiso district and we're visiting musician and farmer Nathan Sekanjako
Still to come, we find out about growing cocoa.
and how keeping track of your finances can help increase farm income.
Anything else we need to do, Frob?
There's no time.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
You want the best chocolate, they say buy Swiss, right?
or Belgium. Wrong. You buy Ugandan chocolate. It is the best, believe me. I know.
Cocoa beans are Uganda's third biggest export crop, but the demand for Ugandan cocoa beans is rising locally too. Chocolate companies are springing up in Kampala and elsewhere across the country. So, is this a good time for Ugandan cocoa farmers? Let's find out more from our cocoa expert Alunga Chemtai from National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO.
Job,
Yes, please.
what are the general benefits of cocoa compared to any other crop?
Cocoa has so many benefits. Of course, there are the common products, the chocolate, which everybody likes so much. I can say that the cocoa industry is about 70 billion. They make so many products like cosmetics, confectionaries. So when you enter it, you're assured of the market. And generally compared to other crops, the average price of the first product from the farm is relatively high. Because for coffee, the first product is the Kiboko coffee. A kilogram is about 3,000 shillings, but for cocoa, it's about 8,000 shillings. Yeah, then the other reason is it's a generational crop. When somebody grows it, it's a crop which the father will benefit, the child and the grandchild. Then you only need to establish it once, and then it will serve you for a long time. And then also cocoa is a crop which encourages agroforestry, because generally it is a crop which grows under trees. So when you plant it, you plant the shade trees, and then it keeps the environment and also the ecosystem. And in addition to that, it's a crop which you harvest continuously in a year, because every 2 weeks is harvest time. So I normally call it an ATM, because every 2 weeks you go to your ATM and it gives you money. So it's a very important crop, and I'm glad that Nathan picked it up.
All right, Nathan, what challenges are you facing right now with your garden?
Some cocoa are drying up. You see young pods drying up. Yeah. So they don't mature anymore. Yeah.
Okay, a cocoa plant can produce over 100,000 flowers. That's per year. And one of the ways to keep the plant to keep many is to ensure good soil management, good soil fertility, such that the plant has the nutrients to be able to maintain as much pods as possible into maturity.
So which kind of fertilizers should I use within my garden, and how should I apply them?
Like I've seen you're doing, when you harvest, you bring back the pods into the garden, so they help in rejuvenating the soil. Of course, in case you can be able to access manure, you can be able to apply within the plantation. And then also NPK would be very good to be applied within the field.
So Job, you just mentioned about manure. Does he just bring it and pour it on the tree?
Yeah, actually what we normally do, when the plant is smaller, it's advisable to dig a ring around the canopy of the plant, and then you apply. The feeding parts of the plant are normally within the canopy area.
For best results, apply fertilizer twice a year, ideally before the rains.
Job, what other challenges have you noticed?
The challenge which I have seen is there's need for pruning. Yeah, so because these suckers, these ones are just, they are taking away the nutrients from the plant. In cocoa, we normally want one main stem, whereas in coffee, we want 3 to 4. Because when cocoa grows, it grows like in an umbrella form. So what we do is we normally want to cap the growth of cocoa about 4 meters, because beyond 4 meters, it becomes hard to manage the plant. So we have 2 tools. We have the pruning saw, and then we have the secateurs.
Yes.
Yeah, the secateurs is for the smaller bit of the branches, or it normally remove the smaller suckers. And then this one, the pruning saw, is mainly for the bigger branches.
I think cocoa is good for me, because still in terms of like now weeding, it needs less. Yeah. It's not having a lot of diseases, it's not having pests that attack them, at least they are not mob. And I'm not thinking of only myself, I think of the coming generation. My kids to come, they'll find it, and that's why I like it.
So, cocoa can be a great business and there is a local market for it, but only if you can keep track of things. And that's where FROB comes in.
That's right, Aggie. To be a really successful farmer, you need to know what's going on in your farm. Otherwise, it is like farming with your eyes closed. So, we have invited an expert to help us open our eyes. And that man is Gerald Chabagu from Naro. He's going to help Nathan increase his profits by better understanding which enterprises on his farm are making the most money and where his costs are highest. Ah, but look, Nathan's brass band instruments are here. Now, that's great. I hope the band will play for us before we leave. But first, down to business.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yes.
Gerald.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to farm with your eyes closed?
It doesn't make sense because farm with your eyes closed in this scenario whereby it's just putting resources from this venture to the other venture, I think it is not wise. Records are very essential within any business.
Okay.
Number one, decision making for the farmer. So how do records help you make decisions? With the records keeping, you can know how much you spent on your expenses. It can also help you to project and forecast how much you're going to get from revenue. Revenue from what? From that venture. So it helps you decide how much you're going to price your matoke, how much you're going to price your coffee, how much you're going to price your cocoa, basing on how much you put in. So that if you reach a point and you're not breaking even, you have to harmonize and see how much should I charge for each unit, because you know how much expenses you put in, so it will help you make a decision on how much to price your final product. Another advantage of records keeping, it can be used for future references. You can know how much we actually put into this venture, and maybe for the next season, you will know that we can spend this much and this is our cost limit. We cannot go above this if we want to make a profit. But maybe in the future, you want to get a loan. These records will be very essential to these people giving you this amount of money, whatever amount of money you may need to run your business. It also helps you manage risk. You want to buy seed. You've not been keeping records. So you go to the market and someone will exorbitantly charge you for an input. Yet if you had some records and some prior knowledge, you could have used that as a bargaining chip. So those are some of the benefits, the few benefits you can get from record keeping.
So how can I do this practically?
Well, we are in luck because I moved some templates where we can do some practical work and see how exactly it's done. So the first we can look at how to make a budget. So we are going to look at the expenses, the actual expenses you think that you will spend, and also the cash inflows you expect. So on this side, we will write the date, the particular item, you describe it, that you expect to spend money on, and then write the amount. Then at the end, you can total that up. Then on this other left-hand side, we have what we expect that will make money from the business. Maybe sale of matoke, then you write down the description, the amount, and sale. So this is just the estimate of what you think will make you money. So we are doing a budget.
That's a lot of information. Now, let's take a deep dive down into the details. First, make a budget so you have an estimate of how much you expect to spend and how much you expect to receive from sales. This will help you plan. Next, financial records. As you go, keep a record of your finances. Write down all the money you actually spend, these are your expenses, and all the money you receive, your income. So, for example, in the expenses column, you would write down labor costs, fertilizer costs, the cost of any chemicals you used on pest control, and so on. Then in the income column, how much you received from selling your crop at market. From this information, you can see how much profit you made and whether next season you should increase the amount you grow or cut back in order to grow something else more profitable. If you know what gives you most profit, you can increase your income. And that's what I call farming with your eyes open. So, Gerald, thank you for all that useful information. Hopefully, Nathan can put it into practice. Yes,
Now I
Aki.
have here Alfred William Brass Band. Please come in.
Welcome.
Wow. Nathan,
Yeah.
are you going to play for us today?
I'm going to.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
For you people at home, before you go, we would like you to enjoy with us the Alfred William Brass Band with Nathan. Please play us out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.